Hi, I'm Susan Beesley, and as you know, we have Ask Chris and Susan, where you ask your questions and we will answer them for you live on video. So here we are in our studio just outside London in the UK, and the very first question that we have is from Natalie Smith. So thank you, Natalie. I have a question. To create the right mindset, what are your top 10 books that are not the classics such as Think and Grow Rich, etc., that have inspired you both? Well, I'm going to have to talk on behalf of Chris and myself because we are both great readers of personal development books. Now, we didn't used to be, and this is the point here. It was only when we decided to become online entrepreneurs, internet entrepreneurs, something like 4 years ago, that we really and truly got into reading. Now, prior to that, I will tell you, we joined an MLM, we joined Amway, as most famous entrepreneurs have done at some point in time. And I have to say, their personal development was second to none. It was an absolute requirement of running an Amway business that you took part in the personal development. You got audios, which were then, believe it or not, we are a little bit old, they were cassette tapes that we had to put in the car or a cassette machine and listen to every single week, and we got tested on them. So there was no escaping that. And then we had a book of the week that we had to read every single week, a different book, and again we would get in a discussion group and with our team, and we would have to, our team leader, and we'd have to answer questions. So really, in a roundabout way, Natalie, what I'm going to say to you is it really doesn't matter what kinds of books you read, really and truly, but you should be concentrating on your personal development. And I once heard it said, and I'm going to paraphrase it because I don't know the exact quote, and it comes from the late Jim Rohn, and it's that you must work harder on yourself than you do on your business. And that is why Chris and I believe that we are as successful as we are in our entrepreneurial life, because we do absolutely concentrate on our personal development. We believe in reading every single day. We listen to audios or watch some kind of training every single day that improves and feeds our minds. And I'm going to say to you that is something that is absolutely essential. And if you work on yourself, you're going to find the rest follows. Now, very recently, we've been listening a lot to Making the Shift, which is an audio CD from Darren Hardy of Success Magazine. Now, Darren has put together this really excellent CD. I'm actually going to show it to you here, if you can see it. It is Making the Shift, Your First 7 Days, and it's about developing the entrepreneur mindset. And one of the things that he says absolutely is that personal development is key. I'm actually going to read what he says, and he actually talks about a meeting he had with Jim Rohn, who was his personal mentor, when he was fortunate enough to meet him at a seminar, because I think these words are really going to sum up pretty much what you've been asking, Natalie. So he says, if you want to have more, you have to become more. Success is not a doing process, it's a becoming process. What you do, what you pursue will elude you. It could be like chasing butterflies. Success is something you attract by the person you become. For things to improve, you have to improve. For things to get better, you have to get better. For things to change, you have to change. And when you change, everything changes for you. Now you can see it's important enough. I actually transcribed this CD because the words are so important. But you should absolutely be reading stuff. I mean, we read Success Magazine. We have this come out to us every single month. It has inside it an audio CD of the month that we can play. We listen to stories. You know, stories are really what personal development's all about. You know, if you're an Empower Network, you're lucky enough to have the Inner Circle audios. There are so many in there. They are about business development, personal development, marketing, business, absolutely covering every kind of aspect of being an entrepreneur that you could ever hope to have in one place. You can listen to them on on an iPad. You can listen to them on your iPhone. You know, it is so accessible to have personal development these days. But going back to your original question, what 10 books? Well, I know you've asked me to exclude Think and Grow Rich, but I'm sorry, I can't exclude it. It was one of the first books that we ever read, and we're very lucky to have a personally signed copy of Think and Grow Rich from Napoleon Hill. It's a treasure to us. This isn't the one we actually read. This stays in our bookshelf, and it's very, very special. But it was the first book we read, and it really and truly did give us an understanding of success and what it takes to be successful. The other book that I don't have here is Robert Kiyosaki, which is Rich Dad Poor Dad, because my daughter's reading it at the moment. She's reached 28 and she's starting to think in a different way now, and maybe mum and dad are influencing her. So you know, those are two books that are very popular, that most people will know about, and which you've asked me to exclude. So they're excluded. So now let me share some of the others that we read and have really helped us with our mindset. So first one here, Ask and It's Given by Esther and Jerry Hicks. I mean, it's about the law of attraction. If you don't know it, it's a subject that a lot of people don't really understand, and they should. I would definitely recommend that you get yourself a copy. It's about the teachings of Abraham, and I'm not going to say any more because I want to have a totally open mind on it. And I would love you to go and get a copy and come back and leave me feedback below this video when you've read it. And if you're looking at this video and you have already read it, please tell me what you think, because I'd really love to have your feedback. So that's one, definitely. So that's off the list. Mindset again, Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. This is the new cybernetics. It's been updated. It's the original science of self-improvement and about success. It's changed the lives of millions of people around the world, and it's definitely got to be one on your reading list. So that's the new Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. Okay, so that's that one. I will put these in a list below the video as well, so you can go and get them. And you have asked me to think outside the box, so I'm going to continue to do that. This is the 50th Law by 50 Cent and Robert Greene. You may think this is a strange one to read, so I'm not going to tell you much about it, other than it's described as being the hip-hop entrepreneur book. So I would like you to go and read that, get hold of a copy if you can. It tells the story of 50 Cent and what he learned from living in a very tough way on the streets as a drug dealer, and running a drug empire. Not something we're going to encourage you to do, but the lessons that he learned from it, that he has now taken into his entrepreneurial life and actually speaks all over the world on the subject of success and entrepreneurialism and mindset. So definitely one that you should go and read. So that's the 50th Law by 50 Cent and Robert Greene. One I've just finished recently is The Peaceful Warrior by Dan Millman. As you can see, we tend to like hardback or paperback, real books that you can hold in your hand. And the reason for that is, it sounds like sacrilege, but actually we write in our books. We put little tabs in them and post-it notes, things we want to go back to. Maybe we might want to write a blog post or record a video or an audio on. Something that we can share, an experience that we've shared from the book that we can share with other people. Because if you only keep stuff to yourself, then you're never going to be successful. You might be successful in your own self, but really you should use what you know and learn and take that knowledge and share it with other people. So that was a very unusual book for us to read. I have to say it says it's a book that changes lives, and I truly believe it is, and it's a lovely, lovely story. So definitely get your hands on a copy of The Way of the Peaceful Warrior by Dan Millman. Moving on, other books that have really affected us and our mindset just by the stories that are shared. These are two books here. I'm just going to find that. I've only got one of them. Okay, I've got both of them here. It's probably going to end up being more than 10. Unstoppable by Nick Vujicic. I can never say his name very well, and I feel terrible about that. But you know, he's the most inspirational person I haven't ever had the chance to meet him, but I've seen him on video. I've seen him on stage once at a seminar, but his book is amazing, and Life Without Limits. Both of those were real tearjerkers, because you have to think about your mindset. You have to think about things that affect you. And if you read a story about the struggles that Nick has gone through and come through the other side and now inspires and motivates people all over the world, if he can do it, guys, you can do it. Really, so you know, you have to read those kinds of books, and you have to share your story as well as sharing other people's stories. It's not about other people all the time, it's about you. You know, you are a person who has a story to tell, and you know, just because you are improving your personal development and reading books by other people, never forget ever that you have a story to tell. Okay, so moving on. Start with why. Start with why. Simon Sinek. Again, it's about knowing why you're doing what you're doing, with lots of little hints and stories of other successful people like Napoleon Hill, the Wright brothers, and those kinds of people who really have shaped our future, shaped the 21st century through what happened in their time, and some of the more modern entrepreneurs that he refers to in here, because he says, why are some people and organizations more inventive, pioneering and successful than others, and why are they able to repeat their success again and again? Because in business it doesn't matter what you do, it matters why you do it. Not strictly mindset, but definitely a book that should be on your reading list. People who he cites in his book, like Steve Jobs, the Wright brothers, Martin Luther King, they all started with one thing in common, and it started with why. So I'd read it. I'm going to keep the mystery there. If you haven't read it, you should definitely go and read it. And again, we want you to tell you. You want us to tell you to tell us what you've got out of reading these books, and add to our reading list. Tell us ones that we should read that you think would be valuable and we can share with other entrepreneurs. Chris's favourite, his absolute favourite, 3 Feet from Gold. That is by Sharon Lecter and Greg S. Reed. We were absolutely, we're just so lucky to meet Sharon Lecter in person in London a couple of years ago. She's an amazing woman. She co-wrote Rich Dad Poor Dad series with Robert Kiyosaki, for those of you who don't know. But 3 Feet from Gold is taking the story out of Think and Grow Rich. And it talks about the 3 Feet from Gold story, obviously, and it talks about turning your obstacles into opportunities. So definitely get that one, because you'll be completely blown away with it. And in fact, Chris spoke from stage in Washington, D.C., and he talked about this book in particular, and some of the things from that have shaped our entrepreneurial journey, and we believe will be able to shape yours too. So that's another one on your reading list. We're coming to the end here. And last but not least, I'm going to tell you that this is self-promotion, that you should definitely get yourself a copy of The Mindset Shift from Employee to Home Business Entrepreneur. Now, why am I going to say that? Because we wrote it. No, seriously, this is our story that will help you get through that mindset shift from being an employee into becoming a home business entrepreneur, because it is a shift. it is very different. Even though Chris and myself had a traditional business as an accounting and management consultancy business, it was what I call a traditional entrepreneurial business. We've both been entrepreneurs for more years than we can care to think about. We run our own businesses, and some have been really good and some have been not so good, but we learn from those. But the shift for us from earning our money by going to see clients who paid us for our services and our knowledge and our ability to help them grow their business is entirely different from running a home business. And there are a lot of different things that you have to get through, not least of which is disciplining yourself to get up and do stuff for yourself without being told what to do. That is probably the biggest shift that you are going to have to go through when you make that change. So we've made it as easy as we possibly can by having co-written it with Amanda Ollier, who is absolutely fantastic in everything to do with mindset. I mean, what she has taught us has been incredible, and I love it because it's really down to earth and in 21st century stuff rather than having been written a long time ago, although the principles are the same. Just because it's based on NLP, but NLP's been going on for many hundreds of years. We just didn't have a name to it. So it's all to do with how the mind works, how the subconscious mind works, and how you can actually change your mindset, change the way you work with your subconscious mind, and have it help you more in your business to help you achieve entrepreneurial success. So Natalie, I hope that we've answered your question slightly off tangent, because really I've got a whole library of books I could have brought down here. But I think these are some of the best ones that we would definitely recommend that you get your hands on. And we will repeat again, it's every day. Pay attention to your personal development every day. Read for 30 minutes every day. And if you don't read, well, it doesn't matter. It'll just take you a little longer to read a book. But when you've read something, if you got something out of a chapter, repeat it in some way. Maybe you record a video about it. Maybe you record an audio. Maybe you write a blog post, a journal, an article, a status update on social media. So people get to share something that you shared, because it isn't all about keeping that knowledge to yourself. So thank you very much for that question. That was absolutely fabulous. We hope that we've helped not just you but everybody else watching this video. I'll put the list of books below this so that you've actually got them to hand. And yeah, we absolutely want to hear what you have to say about your personal development and books that you have read. So thank you once again.